Yo, welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Ace. Today we're going to be reacting to some more SWAGKAGE. Deepest apologies for missing uploading within the last week or 2 weeks. I've just been busy with working at home. I had to move my stuff to home, so it got in the way. Like, it's literally right here, my whole desk and desktop. So it got in the way of me being able to do reactions, but I got that situated. I'm going to get back on the grind. Shout out to the people that have been commenting on my videos. Shout out to you, Keegan Johnston and Zachary Barnett. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce your names. I'm going to be reacting to more SWAGKAGE according to the request. So he wanted me to react to Akatsuki Ranked. I don't think SWAGKAGE has any videos titled that. The closest is ranking the Akatsuki from weakest to strongest. So we're going to check that out today. As always, make sure you check out SWAGKAGE's videos first before mine. I'm just solely reacting to it for commentary and opinion, but make sure you check his videos out. His link will be in the description to his channel. Great creator, check him out first. But yeah, let's take a look. Gotta share my opinions first though. Akatsuki Ranked. Zetsu's the weakest. Then it's gotta go Hidan, then Deidara, then Sasori, then Konan, then Kakuzu. I'd say Kisame, and then Itachi, Pain, / Nagato, and then Obito. That's my list right there. I wonder if I missed anyone. Hold on. The Akatsuki. No, that's everyone. Okay, that's my list. Orochimaru, I'm not gonna rank him because I don't want to rank that right now. Alright, so let's get into the video.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? SWAGKAGE here, and welcome to today's video, where I'm going to be doing a request that I've gotten a lot more than I ever expected to when I started this channel, and that is ranking the members of the Akatsuki from strongest to weakest, though despite the way I wrote the title, I'm actually going to be doing it in the reverse order, so I'm going to be ranking them from weakest to strongest, starting from the bottom and working up from there. Now, keep in mind, going into this video, that there's no real foolproof objective way to organize these guys in terms of how strong they
They're all
are.
freaking
Another thing
gods.
to keep in mind is that power scaling Naruto characters is a bit difficult because there's a lot more to it than how hard they hit and what they're capable of blowing up. So obviously I'm not going to be ranking these characters based on their physical strength alone. I'm going to be taking a whole lot of things into consideration here. And these guys are essentially going to be ordered based on who I think is capable of winning a fight against everybody placed beneath them. I know there's no way I'm going to be able to please everybody with this video. No matter how I rank the Akatsuki members, somebody's going to get pissed off, but that's unavoidable.
As long as he doesn't start mentioning like Madara or anything like that, because every time he starts mentioning Madara in like versus battles or videos, everyone starts getting triggered. I find that super funny.
I'm gonna do my best and hope you guys enjoy the video. So without further ado, let's just get started. So
Let's
first
go,
up,
baby.
we have
Let's
Zetsu
go.
at the bottom of the list. No surprise
What'd
here,
I
I
say?
don't really need to explain myself. Even in the series' earlier days when his origins hadn't been revealed, it was still pretty clear that Zetsu wasn't meant to be taken too seriously as a fighter and that he worked as the organization's intel guy. He just gathered information and didn't really do much fighting himself. Now, that isn't to say that he's completely irrelevant. Zetsu, or at least one half of him anyway, should be given loads of credit for essentially creating the Akatsuki and successfully convincing all of his founders and leaders and anybody else he deemed necessary to follow his cause and unknowingly help him revive Kaguya. If you want to put Zetsu at the top of this list just because he's an extension of Kaguya's will, then I guess by all...
I mean, he technically beat Madara. He basically destroyed him. So if you really want to put him at the top of the list, but nah, he's the lowest one for me.
means do that. But since this guy was seriously afraid that Kakashi and Minato could both kill him in like 2 seconds, and further taking into account that this Minato didn't have both of his arms, it's pretty safe to say that Zetsu's not all that tough. Moving on, up next we have Hidan, and while Hidan is probably
2 for 2,
the
baby.
physically gifted member of the Akatsuki, just because he's immortal.
And isn't it crazy though? Because if you think about it, like the second weakest Akatsuki member is immortal. Just let that sink in. These people are gods, all arguably Kage level.
And he can't die unless he starves to death. Most people agree that his showings aren't really that impressive, and he's easily the least intimidating member of the Akatsuki. If Kakuzu hadn't been with him in the battle against Asuma, Shikamaru, Kotetsu, and Izumo, that would have been it for him. After Asuma decapitated him, he would have been done for. Not to mention he got dispatched pretty easily by Shikamaru, and granted this was a Shikamaru with loads of prep time, but all it took to kill this guy were a couple paper bombs. Well, okay, a lot more than a couple paper bombs, but nowhere near as many as the 600 billion Konan attempted to use to kill Toby. And while Hidan's ritual jutsu is pretty scary, and not something that most characters in the Naruto world would want to go up against, anybody quick enough to dodge his scythe is safe from being affected by it. I think I can say pretty safely that if any of the other Akatsuki members aside from Zetsu were to go up against Hidan with full intel, they would be able to get rid of him pretty quickly. Coming up next we have Konan, the paper girl herself.
Oh, okay. Look, I gotta disagree here. This is just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think, but the reason I think I put Konan so high up on the list is because she's affiliated with Nagato, and like basically all of Jiraiya's students were straight up beasts. I know it's not canon, but in the video game, I forget what video game it is. It's the Naruto video game. They make like the creation of the Akatsuki movie, where it shows Konan tries to recruit Sasori, and she actually defeats him like by stopping his puppets. And it's not too far off to believe something like that could happen, because she's really strong. She has a really insane ability. I just think it's a little bit higher than Sasori's. And again, she was Pain's right hand woman, and yes, they were friends growing up, but he wouldn't have kept her and done all this thing with her if she wasn't strong enough to hold her own. So that's just my opinion. I think she should deserve higher up the list, but you maybe disagree. Let me know what you think.
Possible suspect for the origami killer from Heavy Rain. A lot of people are probably going to be mad at me for putting Konan this low on the list.
Triggered. I'm pissed.
It's just that she doesn't have the feats or really the hype either to put her above any other member of the Akatsuki. I also think it's really important to keep in mind when talking about how strong Konan is in relation to other members of the Akatsuki that the only reason she's a member of the organization in the first place is because she was a friend of Nagato and Yahiko. Every other member of the Akatsuki was recruited based on how powerful they were and the skill set they possessed. Not Konan though. She just got in because she was a friend of the leader, or former leader, I guess. I'm not really sure whether it's Nagato or Obito. Regardless, Konan is still incredibly powerful, especially with prep time, as she was able to create a literal sea of paper bombs made up of 600 billion of them, like I mentioned.
That's another thing towards my argument as well, because like if you think about it, who else could have done this good against basically Obito? Like if I think of like people like Deidara, Sasori, I don't think they could have done this good against Obito. I mean, it all depends on who fights who at the end of the day, but I mean, this was a really good feat in my opinion. Being able to almost kill this dude, forcing Obito to activate Izanagi. Like, this dude was gonna die if he didn't do that. So,
mentioned earlier, which would have been more than enough to kill Obito if not for the fact that he had Izanagi. Now, many people have said that based on the little scuffle that Obito and Konan had before she opened up this sea of paper bombs, she's actually stronger than him even without prep time, but that's not necessarily true. I think the only reason she did so well against Obito in the opening moments of their fight is because Obito underestimated her, as he himself admits, since if he wanted to, he could have
which is in her favor, because that means she's stronger than people thought.
But she does have plenty of other feats and abilities. She's capable of teleporting by turning her body into paper. She was capable of tanking a point-blank fireball jutsu from Jiraiya by coating herself in her paper. She's capable of suffocating people by coating their bodies in paper. She's capable of flying by manifesting paper wings. She can create deadly solid paper spears, and she can even create shuriken made from paper that work just as well as metal shuriken do. Now, all of that said, none of this puts her above anybody aside from Hidan and Zetsu, but again, not because Konan is weak, just because all of the other Akatsuki members are so absurdly strong.
Freaking
now, this
gods,
is where things
man.
get really tricky. I initially had Deidara placed a little bit higher on this list, and I know plenty of people are going to be really mad at me for putting him this low, but again, keep in mind that the people who are in the lower half of this list aren't here because they're weak, but just because everybody else is so damn powerful. So, okay, here's the biggest thing. From this point forward, a lot of the differences in ability between each subsequent member...
Yeah, I mean, because when we talk about Deidara, this dude was 19 years old. At least, correct me if I'm wrong, but 19 years old, and he was already clapping the Kazekage, going one-on-one versus Kakashi and Naruto. Well, Kakashi first and then Naruto butt in. But, I mean, this dude was hella strong. Yeah, no, 19 years old, bro.
Of the Akatsuki, it's gonna be really small and difficult to notice. Like, Deidara is not very far behind the person who's above him, and that person's not very far behind the person above them, and so on and so forth. Anyway, Deidara is an absolute monster. Like, really, this guy's no joke. He was fast enough to keep up with the Tsuchikage in a battle in the sky, and both of them were moving so fast that an experienced Jonin watching from the ground couldn't tell what was going on. He was fast enough to avoid plenty of Gaara's sand attacks, quick enough to create and replace his own body with a clay clone before a QB-enhanced Naruto could land a hit on him, fast enough to avoid a blitz from Sasuke. And this is important because this same Sasuke, when he wasn't powered up by having absorbed Orochimaru, blitzed all of Team 7, including Naruto, Sai, Sakura, and Yamato, and none of them were prepared for it. His left eye is capable of seeing through genjutsu. He has a ridiculously versatile arsenal thanks to his C clay variants, including C1, which he uses to create various animals out of clay, C2, in which he creates a gigantic flying explosive dragon, C3, which was so powerful it nearly blew up the entire sand village, C4, which destroys the bodies of his enemies on a cellular level, and
God
C0,
damn, bro, chill. If you're talking about all these kind of like feats and abilities, this dude is a monster, and that's so insane. All of the Akatsukis have these amazing and crazy abilities. Like when you think about it, Sasori has the like if we're thinking of like their trump cards and you're going at war against the Akatsuki, oh dude, like let's just think about it. So Pain basically has the Shibaku Tensei, Itachi, fucking Yaramir, Susanoo, Tosca Blade, Obito. Well, enough said with Obito, but then we're looking at like Kakuzu. We can just go 5 on whoever he has to battle. It's basically 5v1. He's impossible to kill. Hidan's immortal. Sasori can just bring out his 100 puppets and destroy anyone, and then Deidara blow himself up if he needs to. But that last ability is scary, man, because he basically almost killed Sasuke, except if it wasn't for plot armor. But everyone's freaking beast.
Which is his self-destruct move that created an explosion comparable in size to a Jubi Blast. Deidara is no joke at all, and I feel really bad about putting him this low on the list. I mean, really, this guy's a freak of nature. He's had both of his arms ripped off before and didn't really seem to care when it happened. He had Toby lay out an entire minefield, then fell on his own landmines and survived, and he doesn't even have to use clay to perform his explosive jutsu. In his battle with Gaara, he just used Gaara's sand instead, so that way he didn't have to use up any more of his clay unnecessarily. I would love to say that there's something holding Deidara back and keeping him this low on the list, but really there isn't. Everybody else on this list is just so insanely powerful. So next up after Deidara, we fittingly have Sasori of the Red Sand, the strongest puppet master in the entire series, and now, I'm sure plenty of people are going to be like, what? Sasori's fodder? Why is he so high on the list? He's not stronger than Konan or Deidara. Okay, look,
yeah, I don't know, like I said, like Konan in that one video game, she beat him, but I know it's not canon, but, you know, so it gives the idea out there. But no, this guy was a freaking tank. He basically bodied the third Kazekage. No doubt he would have killed Gaara. This dude, and keep this in mind, he did this when he didn't even have his, like, strongest puppet ever. This was when he was, like, super young, and he's out here bodying Kazekages. He's definitely strong as fuck.
Look, here's a panel of Deidara literally saying Sasori is stronger than him. Deidara is so prideful that he literally killed himself because he was so pissed off that he couldn't beat Sasuke. I'm pretty sure Deidara was telling the truth here. And I don't think I really need to back the statement up for anybody who actually knows what Sasori is capable of. Like, yeah, he lost to Sakura and an old lady. He's fighting bad. Like, no, Sasori is a powerhouse. One of the scariest fighters for anybody in the verse to go up against. Sasori has insta-kill poison that was only stopped by an antidote created specifically to counter it, 298 puppets at his disposal, a puppet body that gives him incredible versatility.
Oh shit, you have more? I thought it was 100.
The third Kazekage puppet literally made from that Kazekage's body, capable of using all of his abilities, including the legendary Iron Sand, the Haruko Shell, which on its own was able to deal with Kankuro with little difficulty, and apparently he took down an entire country with his performance of 100 puppets jutsu. Which isn't surprising. I mean, even if you take out the puppets, you still have Sasori's insanely powerful puppet body to deal with. And you might think, well, you can just blow Sasori up. But no! Sakura punched him to pieces and he just built himself again. It's like what Kakuzu did when Hidan got his head chopped off, except Sasori was able to do it himself. And for anybody who really thinks that Sasori truly lost to Sakura and Chio, first of all, Chio says that he let himself get hit by the final attack. Second of all, Chio
just
had
gave
like
up.
the 10 strongest puppets ever created. Shikamatsu's 10 puppets, created by the first puppet master ever, which by themselves were capable of taking out an entire castle. Chio also knew everything about him, including all of his abilities and weaknesses. Once again, they had an antidote specifically created to counter the effects of Sasori's poison. I mean, once again, the only reason Sasori isn't any higher on the list is because everybody above him is just so nonsensically strong. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to add, when Sasori's brought back with Edo Tensei, he uses his puppet strings to control living people. I mean, there's really no stopping this guy. He's absolutely out of control. Now, I initially had Kakuzu way lower on this list. He was beneath both Sasori and Deidara. But then I went back, read through some manga chapters that had him in it just to brush up.
He's durable as hell.
And remember that Kakuzu is, like, it's stupid how strong this guy is. The first thing that everybody brings up when talking about how strong Kakuzu is that he allegedly survived a fight with the first Hokage, and the third data book confirms this. I mean, the data books are a little bit shaky in terms of credibility, because they also claim that Heavy Sasuke is stronger than every member of the Akatsuki. But still, it says that after Kakuzu failed on his mission to kill Hashirama, he was tortured. Because he didn't really like his punishment that much, he stole the hearts of the village elders and then became whatever it is he is today. Now, even despite the fact that he has 5 hearts and can't be killed unless all of these hearts are destroyed, playing Kakuzu is... I mean,
God
like,
damn, this shit's gonna give me a seizure.
I was stunned by how powerful he was. You know, this big old gate guarding this temple, Kakuzu just punches it down. He and Hidan are staring down the Two-Tails Matatabi. The Two-Tails brings up its claw and prepares to hit both of them with it, and Kakuzu just catches it with both of his hands like it's no big deal. Matatabi then proceeds to fire a tailed beast bomb at both of them point blank, and obviously Hidan survives, but Kakuzu does too, with no damage, I guess. Kakuzu also, like, blew up this gigantic chunk of the ground by just punching Shikamaru. He has this area of effect attack that may as well have blown up the entire forest that he was fighting Team Kakashi.
Hey, quick question. Who's stronger? Sakura, if she punches, focuses all her chakra on the fist, or Kakuzu? My money's on Kakuzu. Dude's a beast.
His tentacles have an insane range. His hearts are capable of flying through the air. He has access to all 5 basic nature transformations. He has a long-ranged form that gives him access to...
So far, for the most part, I am agreeing with this list, just because, yeah, like he says, nobody's weak. Everyone's just so freaking godlike that there has to be this list. But Kakuzu, honestly, maybe a little bit lower than what he's doing, but for the most part, he's got this list right on.
Even more chakra, and after he took a Rasen Shuriken point blank to the face,
he still
survived for a couple seconds after that, long enough to say some final words. He doesn't have as many feats as Sasori or Deidara, but I think it's safe to say that he's more powerful than the two of them by a slight margin. Now that we've gotten into the top 4, it gets a little ridiculous. Up next we have Kisame.
Right?
Now,
hey,
Kisame,
let's go.
I don't want to say that he's that much more powerful than Kakuzu is, but I mean, based on showings, I'll just go ahead and start running through what this guy is.
This dude makes me geek every time I don't know what the hell he does. He's like snorting, fucking trying to breathe hard. Every time SWAGKAGE does that, it makes me geek.
Done before. Because, oh my god, so with a 30% water clone, he forced Guy to open up the 6th gate, and was able to keep the rest of Team Guy, that being Neji, Jonin, Rock Lee, and Tenten, all trapped within water prisons. Water prisons created by water clones, created by his 30% clone, were able to keep all of Team Guy except for Guy in water prisons, and even while he was funneling chakra into those clones, Guy still had to open up the 6th gate to beat his 30% clone. And even without his sword, Samehada, Kisame was giving 7th gate Guy a pretty solid run for his money. And that's not even mentioning the fact that Kisame absolutely destroyed B. The same B that went to town on not just Sasuke, but all of Team Taka. B was touted as the strongest Jinchuriki in the whole world, and Kisame made really short work of him. The only reason he ended up losing it all was because Samehara decided it didn't want to be loyal to him anymore and wanted to start working for B. He also created...
That was a dope scene, though. I remember it. Basically, what's it? Tsuchikage? No. Raikage shows up, and then they both do the double lariat. That part was dope as hell.
This gigantic floating ocean of water that travels with him as he moves. I mean, if this doesn't all sell you on him, people call him the tailed beast without a tail. That should be just about all you need to know about this guy. Now, because Orochimaru was temporarily a member of the Akatsuki, I'm going to give him an honorable mention and just say this is where I think he would go. I don't want to spend too much time talking about how strong Orochimaru is, but, you know, he mastered Edo Tensei, was able to press Hiruzen, fought pretty evenly with four-tailed version 2 Naruto while severely weakened, and has a whole bunch of other crazy feats. He's also comparable to Jiraiya, who Kisame was pretty terrified at the prospect of fighting, and I mean, he's overall just a really strong ninja. But yeah, moving on to actual number 3. Above Kisame, we have Itachi. I mean, Itachi really speaks for himself, you know, Amaterasu.
Yeah, dude, this guy is a genius. I remember, I'm rewatching some of the Naruto Shippuden episodes, and this guy, man, big brain as fuck. He's just thinking ahead. It's like 50 steps ahead. I honestly don't know who's smarter, Shikamaru or Itachi. I'm gonna have to say Shikamaru a little bit, but this dude is very, very smart. In terms of like the people that actually think ahead and are like staying calm and collective, this guy's a genius. Not to mention his obviously godlike powers, but...
Tsukuyomi, Susanoo, Yadamir, Totsuka Blade, exploding shadow clones, crazy fast hand signs, absolutely annihilated Kakashi with...
I haven't seen the exploding shadow clones, or maybe I have, but I don't remember. I just don't remember seeing that.
Pretty much no effort whatsoever. Was able to react to Kirin. Fought hand-to-hand evenly with KCM Naruto. Fought Sage Kabuto alongside Sasuke. And was instrumental in ending the 4th Shinobi World War. Really, nothing needs to be said about him. I think the only things about Itachi that I'm really going to need to heavily discuss are things that involve why he was placed at number 3 and not number 1 or number 2. But yeah, I mean, this guy is a total legend. Everybody knows Itachi's OP. I don't really think I need to go into detail. Now, above Itachi, we have Nagato or Pain, and once again, I think he speaks for himself, but...
Pain is my favorite character in Naruto, my favorite villain. This guy is literally a god, just because he has the Rinnegan. Straight up tanked and destroyed Naruto and B, as everything was getting hyped up for Naruto's new Kurama mode, straight up clapped their cheeks, man.
But also, like with Itachi, many people are going to be like, what? What's Nagato doing here? Why isn't he at number 1? Obviously, he's the strongest member of the Akatsuki, right? And, well, not necessarily, but he's still, I mean, it's Nagato, it's Pain, it's the guy with the Rinnegan. Like I said, I don't really think I have much explaining to do here. He has all of the Rinnegan's abilities, which, I mean, that includes the ability to rip people's souls straight from their bodies, summon the Gero Mazo, use Shinra Tensei, Bancho Tenin, Chibaku Tensei, summon all of the
It's ridiculous how strong this guy
manifest
is.
Mechanical limbs, fire laser beams, missiles, summon the King of Hell, and insta-kill people, absorb ninjutsu, absorb chakra through direct contact. I mean, once you've watched Edo Itachi and Edo Nagato versus Naruto and B, it's kind of impossible not to acknowledge just how ludicrously strong Nagato is. You know, Naruto and B just proved that they were more powerful than Tsunade and the Raikage, and got permission to go headfirst into the war, and then Nagato just swooped right in and started dicking on them. And I mean, Obito even outright said that, yeah, Nagato's invincible. There's no one capable of taking this guy out. Then finally, I think I have my most controversial placement on this list. At the very tippity top, we have Obito. And now I think if I was talking about Obito with the Rinnegan, a lot of people agree with me. But
now, hold on. Honestly, like a couple months ago, I don't think it was too long ago, I actually thought that Nagato / Pain would have like clapped easily Obito. I was always thinking like, man, I don't know why he's always like number 2. I can definitely see Pain and Obito fighting and Obito losing, but then like I got more clarity. Obviously Obito's gonna win. Now that's not to say that Nagato's never gonna win. I think that definitely Nagato could win, but it's probably like if they fight 5 times, Nagato will probably win 2 out of those 3 times, or maybe 1 or 2. But yeah, I had to face the reality, man. Obito is the strongest, which isn't bad. I mean, I like Obito, but
I don't think think that's
Pain's my
exactly
favorite,
fair
so
because by the time Obito got the Rinnegan, the Akatsuki had fallen apart and all of its members were dead. I'm talking about single Sharingan Obito.
He's
and
still
though
OP
many
as
people
fuck.
might be like, excuse me? That Obito is nowhere near as strong as Nagato, but bear with me because he would definitely win in a fight against him. The thing about Obito is, I mean, Kamui's just really hard to deal with. If Nagato decided to use Chibaku Tensei, all Obito would have to do is suck himself into Kamui, and then that would be that. So really,
yeah, but I mean, in that scenario, nobody really wins because Obito's just retreating. He can come back, but then I feel like Pain would just continue as the Chibaku Sensei.
Fight against him, Obito doesn't have
Just the
anything
stalemate.
to worry about as far as setting up his defenses goes. But the biggest thing is that many people forget about how powerful Obito actually is with just his one Sharingan, because he didn't use the chains after his fight with Minato. If he had been fighting anybody except for Minato, with both the Kyuubi and those chains at his disposal, the fight would have been over immediately. I think many people missed the point of the chains completely, but the point of them was Obito would charge at people and then catch them by surprise by slipping through them using Kamui, and afterwards, the chains he was carrying would catch them from behind. They would be too surprised to react, and Obito would be able to immediately turn around and suck them into the Kamui dimension, and that would be that. There's nothing anybody can do about it. Plus, Obito has this huge reserve of spare Sharingan just lying around, so he's capable of using Izanagi. Then he also has Hashirama's cells, so he has regenerative abilities. Plus, his durability is, I mean, it's really a sight to behold. After having his heart impaled, becoming the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, and then having the Jubi forcibly ripped out of him, casting the Rinne Tensei Jutsu, being taken over by Zetsu, having his mind assaulted by Madara, having the Rinnegan ripped out of him, and using his Mangekyo Sharingan in an attempt to synchronize his Kamui with Kaguya's dimensional portals, Obito was still standing and did not collapse from exhaustion and die. Yeah, I don't think any more needs to be said.
Hey, so there you have it, SWAGKAGE's video ranking the Akatsuki. Make sure you check his original content before you watch my videos. This is supposed to be just after you've seen his videos. Make sure you subscribe to his channel because these are all his videos, his hard work. Make sure I'm giving this guy credit. But yeah, these are my reactions to the video. Pretty much, for the most part, spot on. I mean, the only thing that I disagree with him about is Konan, but, you know, everyone has their own opinion. Thank you guys for staying with me this long. If you've already reached to this part of the video, make sure you comment down below on what to react to next animes, next suggestions. Shout out to the people commenting and liking and subscribing. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.